And we're just about to go through brush here. Did I lose the trail? And we're gonna spend most of the time, in fact, almost all the time, talking about the new antenna. Man, there's a lot of horse crap around here. Morning guys, I'm the Tech Prepper. Out here in the Tonto National Forest, doing a little bit of a dry run and some gear testing today. I wanted to do a SOTA activation, but the peak I wanted to do, the logistics weren't quite squared away, so I decided to err on the side of caution and just have fun and play radio with some new gear today. The first is a backpack. We won't talk too much about it. It's too new to tell. And the second one is going to be very first field deployment of a brand new antenna that I don't believe is even in production yet. It's from PackTenna, and we'll talk about that in a second. And that'll be mostly what this video is about. So let's talk about the pack. Last week, I was in Skyline Regional Park activating Pyrite Summit, and my 511 Rush 24-hour pack did a real number on my shoulders and lower back. While those tactical bags are wonderful for the abuse they can handle and the loads they can carry, they are not kind to your shoulders and lower back. And I've been dealing with it for a number of years, but I'm turning 40 this year, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of aches and pains. So I decided to look at some more traditional hiking backpacks, and the challenge I have is that they're not durable. I mean, I've had a few out here, and they don't even last a year. I'm constantly mending them, and I wanted Cordura, but I also wanted the ability to adjust the compression straps on the shoulders. I wanted to have a waist belt that I could adjust the ride on, and it seemed like nothing worked. So I have a wonderful viewer, Robert. He's a ham, put his call down below, and I gave him my requirements, and he found this FAC track from Eberlestock, and it's perfect. It has MOLLE, it has the capacity I need, it's designed to work with military style radios, it has antenna ports, and it has all of the comforts of what you would find in a traditional hiker backpack. So really excited about that. So the next thing outside of that, we'll do a review much later in the channel. I want to get a lot of experience first before I make a judgment call on this pack, is the new product from PackTenna, and I don't even think it's in production yet. I have a early version that George sent me, and really interesting concept. It's a 2-meter 440 bring your own antenna, dipole or vertical, designed to work with a trekking pole. Well guys, we're basically here. This is an area I like to go to if I don't have a whole lot of time. Do a quick 5-mile trail run during lunch. And I'm at about 2,400 feet. And while there are a few mountains around me, it's typically enough to be heard. And the other reason why I like this area is that it is a historical preserve, so I try to not leave any type of footprint around here that I've been here. But I've shown this many times on the channel. There are, well, I don't know if it's gonna come on camera, just petroglyphs all over the top of this this little summit. And every time I come, I find one that I've never seen before. Not used to the waist buckle. This bag is nice. It has grab handles. Oh, the one issue I ran into coming up here, I do carry a small concealed carry holster, or I do carry a small CCW on my person, the G43, and the buckle with the MOLLE, or the waistband with the MOLLE, was obscuring it, so I couldn't access it. I don't want to be that guy that goes to a drop leg holster. Maybe I can mount it on my chest, but either way, it might freak out the occasional people I see on this trail. But something I need to figure out with the new Eberlestock FAC track pack. All right, you guys have seen this one before. This is the TPA 817 with my Yaesu 818 all band, all mode kit. This is what we're going to use today, so we're not going to be pushing more than 6 watts. In this bag here, I believe this is mostly my PackTenna antennas, and really the only thing I need is the PackTenna TrekMount, and as you can see here, there are 4 BNC connectors. On the bottom is the BNC connector for your feed line. And I'll show you the trekking pole when we get it set up, but you put the trekking pole inverted through here. Feed point goes there. If you want to run it as a vertical for FM, for example, you put your BNC antenna. I have a couple of telescoping masts I'm going to try out, and then you can use one as a ground plane. And then for single sideband, we're going to take the one off the top and we're going to put it on the side, so we'll have a 2-meter dipole to play with on single sideband. And like I said, George was kind enough to send me a couple of BNC antennas to try. This one is the Nagoya 773, so dipole, and then we'll try the vertical. And I have a measuring tape that I borrowed from my wife. She doesn't watch this channel anymore, so I can take her things. And then he also sent me, I hope I brought them. Yeah, he sent me these other guys. They don't have any markings on them. They're quite a bit longer. So I'm gonna try finding the frequency that I wanna be resonant on. For today, that'll be APRS. That'll be our local SOTA frequency, which is 144.410. I'm going to try the 2-meter and 70 centimeter national calling frequency, and I'm going to try an SSB frequency. I'll have to look it up on my notes. But basically, these are the antennas. So with your feed line and a trekking pole, your kit, if I stop dropping stuff, really could be as simple as this. So let's see how well that works. And then for comparison, I have my Yaesu FT60R with a diamond antenna for comparison. He did not send this to me. This is something I bought. I wanted to try some beefier coax with BNCs. I think they call this RG8X Mini. I believe it's about 12 feet. So we'll see how this works out. But typically I carry RG316. I also brought along my Nano VNA so that we can tune the telescoping whips to the frequency we're going to be working on. And I'm going to create for myself, I think they call them doping charts, so that I can measure the length beforehand and have a lookup table. I borrowed this from my wife. It's just a small measuring tape she had in her sewing drawer. So she doesn't watch the channel, so I felt like I could borrow it. All right, guys, we're doing this live for the very first time. No edits, other than maybe some cuts. So I'm going to put this on the max setting here. We'll do max on this one. And I found these trekking poles at Costco, or actually my wife did. I had a trekking pole malfunction on a summit not too long ago, and for 30 bucks, I am super happy with this. Let's make sure there are no critters down here. All right, that guy ain't going anywhere. I know that's a really bad angle with the sun, but it's the best I can do. So we have the first piece set up. So for the ground plane, I want to make sure I connect it to ground and then put the vertical on here. And again, this is for 2-meter and 440 FM. And then I'm going to try to measure out a 1/4 wavelength. I think on 2 meters, that's around 19.5 inches. All right, we have a little bit of a lean, but that's because I don't have my basket for the trekking pole. And then we'll connect our feed line. Again, this is a RG8X Mini with BNC connectors. That's my new standard. And the other thing I have is my Go kit. This is my all band, all mode. Basically takes me from 80 meters all the way down to 440. And the reason I like it is all we do is plug our antenna here to the top, and I can do the same thing with HF using the TPA 817B pack frame. In fact, I'm picking up an 857D tomorrow, and Seth from Armorlock also sent me frames for those. So I'm also evaluating the 891. So all three, I have these three frames for all three of my Yaesu radios. All right, guys, I'm still a new ham, but I am learning things as I'm going. I'm learning slowly. That's just who I am. But I have been finding that I can never have too many adapters for my radios. I'm trying to standardize everything I'm connecting to BNC, and I basically have this SMA connector so I can connect my HT, or in this case the Nano VNA, for testing. But for whatever reason, I can never seem to have enough of these, and every time I go to place an order, I buy 2, and I should be buying 5 or 6 at a time. And I do like putting them in the little Altoids tins. It's great. So my Go kit has one, my antenna kit has one, I have one in the RV, one in the Jeep. So it's just great to have an assortment of this, and my personal experience has shown me that standardizing at least on the connector that you use with your coax seems to be the best bet. I also have a bunch that will take me to either SO239 or PL259. All right, I'm mistaken. So we're at about a 2-to-1 SWR right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just make some adjustments. When I did a dry run at the house, when I first got it during lunch, I found that 3 segments out with like a knuckle on the 4th one put me perfectly on most of the 2-meter frequencies I use. So I'm going to go do that real quick. All right, guys. So very first impressions. This is not to knock PackTenna. I think with this setup, you need to make sure you do your preparation in advance and have an SWR meter and build that doping chart. I'm doing mine on a Write in the Rain notebook, and I was mistaken. When I did my measurements the other day, it was when I had configured it as a dipole. I'm having a slightly different success with the vertical, and based on my tools and where I'm deployed, for 144.440 as my frequency, the lowest SWR I was able to get was 1.22, and I measured from the base of my antenna for consistency to the tip, and for both the ground plane and the vertical, I'm at 18 3/4 inches. So I'm going to track this over time to see how well that works. But I would say, guys, for the very first time at least, make sure you at least do a dry run at the house. Now that this is all calibrated, what I want to do is be able to get a local ham on the line here. I'm going to see if we have cell service up here. If not, I'll do a APRS message to him. All right, guys, so I just sent a text message since I have LTE to a local ham. He's about 3 miles away. And I just told him that I'm on the national 2-meter calling frequency. W7CQQ, this is KT1 RUN. Are you there?
Roger, I am. I can hear you loud and clear. You're full quieting. You copy me, over.
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear. Hey Paul, do you mind if I record this for the YouTube channel? I just went through the antenna setup, and I happen to have the camera running. Back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem at all. Anyway, you sound real good. Did you have some trouble copying me at first?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that was. I had to adjust the squelch. It didn't sound like an alternator or anything, but there was just a bunch of noise coming over the frequency.
How about now? Is it full quieting now? Is the signal clear?
Yeah, you're clear as day. Like I said, you're pegging the scale on my meter here. Hey, let me turn on my HT real quick. I just want to get a quick comparison on my Yaesu with the diamond antenna.
Roger that, no problem. Yeah, like I said, your signal is you're pegging the needle here, so you sound like you're right. Sound like you're right in the backyard almost, for sure. So, are you up on the what was the name of the peak you were going, I think it was called the Fortress, was it? It's up there near Table Mesa.
Yeah, that was the plan. Unfortunately, I still haven't unloaded the RV and it's blocking the Jeep, and I do have to hit a pretty aggressive 4x4 trail, and the wife's car wasn't going to do it. So I'm actually out, if you're familiar with Ruin Ridge, just in the backyard in Tonto, where the petroglyphs are on the that little mound that's just on the other side of the saddle.
Yeah, that's just, what would that be, a little southeast of you, I will call it east of you, Roger?
Yeah, Roger. So yeah, from your vantage point, I'm about, maybe as the crow flies, about 2 miles northeast of you.
Okay, yeah, I've been up top there. I've had the horse up there as well. It's pretty cool up there with all the petroglyphs, but yeah, okay, roger that. So let me ask you, did we try 446, 5.2? You want to try the 440, or is it a different radio for you? Go ahead.
No, I'm on the Yaesu 817. It's the same radio. The only thing is I haven't tuned it, so if you can give me maybe 2 minutes to connect my analyzer and switch bands. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed just joining me out on my little excursion today. Wasn't anything official we were trying to do, just some basic tests and some first impressions of some new gear. So we'll start with the backpack, the FAC Track, and I gotta tell you, it is really early, but I am loving it. It is comfortable, even with the additional weight. It feels lighter than the Rush 511 24-hour pack. I love all of the support that I have. My back and my shoulders feel fantastic, and I'm going to keep taking it out. There are a few things I really like on it already. I do like that the top opens up, similar to my camera bag, and this pack actually was designed to work with one of the PRC military style radios. And I'm going to be putting in my Yaesu FT891A in there with the TPA pack frame. So that'll be coming up on the channel. But I like how the main compartment has a couple of different ways of accessing it. And I was actually able to put my cook system on the bottom, a couple of dry bags, fully put in my entire HF, kind of all band, all mode really, man pack in there, and then throw in a couple more pieces of gear in their dry bags and zip the whole thing up. There are MOLLE and attachment points everywhere on the pack. It also boasts lots of pockets for hydration. I personally have a really bad track record when it comes to hydration bladders, and I won't use them. For me, it's just a convenience and a backup, and that is it. I've had really horrible leaks. So instead, the 2 hydration pouches that are on the side, I'm using it to basically store now my my antenna mast, the SOTA Beams Carbon 6 carbon fiber mast, and the stake system for that, and the guy system works beautifully. On the other side, I'm not really using it, but I could put the trucking poles in there, but instead I'm putting the trucking poles through a couple of the MOLLE loops on the bottom, and then using the compression straps to hold that in place. Now, there are side pockets, and people complain that the water bottles will fall out. Well, they're not water bottle pouches at all. I am using it for my 40-ounce water bottle right now, but people are recommending, if you do run a water bottle, that you put some type of retention. So I'm just using a paracord bracelet. It works fine, but the real intended purpose of that pouch, as I understand it on both sides, is so that you could nest the butt of a rifle in there and then use the compression straps on the sides to hold down the stock. So I almost brought a a rifle with me today to test. So I'm definitely going to try out my Ruger 5.56 Ranch and probably one of my AR-15s in there at some point when I decide to go shooting out in the desert. So really happy about that. But in general, the pack is starting to feel like a really nice hybrid option between the durability that I need. I like the Cordura, I like the Molly, I like the radio kind of attachment points it has, but just the comfort and the ride is what is really making it probably my 511 killer. And I paid for this pack. It was extremely pricey. I don't even want to mention the price on here, but it was one of those things where I come out enough and I want to have the right gear. So let's get back to the antenna. Sorry for all the ham radio guys out there. This channel is about experiences, and it's the whole shebang, not just the antennas and the radio. So I'm really on the fence about the PackTenna TrekMount. I like it as a novel idea. I need to experiment with it a lot more before I make a final judgment. And the one thing that I found with it is I can't get it to work on 70 centimeters, 440 period. I can receive okay, but I wasn't able to get a SWR less than 2:1 with either of the antennas. I tried the Nagoya, and I also tried the longer one. The longer one did work at its fully collapsed state, but it was a 2:1 match. But I was able to receive Paul's transmissions a bit. Now 2 meters actually was really successful. I have that one dialed in. I made that doping chart for myself. I was going full scale. He was able to hear me just fine. We did try single sideband. I reoriented the antenna into the dipole configuration, and I think that's where I lost some of the video. And I could hear him okay, but he could not hear me. And I think it's really, I wasn't up high enough. I was only at 2,400 feet, and I have a couple of mountains blocking our line of sight. So I'm going to try that again. But in general, I think I'm going to take 70 centimeters off the table for that antenna for right now, until I find one that works nicely with it, and really have it be kind of a 2 meter setup for myself. So just VHF only. All right, guys, again, a little bit different video today, but just wanted to take you out, film some footage, play some radio, try some new gear. All right. Oh, and I appreciate every one of you guys. I love all your comments. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free to do so. I think only 20% of the viewers actually are subscribers. I don't have enough time to deal with the analytics. I just am too busy, and this is just a fun little side project for me. But at any rate, consider subscribing if you like the content. I'm going to try to do some videos that are a little bit more well-rounded, going back to some of the prepper roots of the channel. So I still have the greenhouse irrigation system that's in flight. I have the TPA 891A frame that I need to review. The problem is I ordered the, what is it? The PRC 117 Golf pouch for it, and it was delayed in shipment, and I can't do that review without having a bag. That's just my take on the TPA, is that it works best when you have the right bag to carry it in. And then I'm picking up a Yaesu FT857D tomorrow. One of my viewers saw one of my earlier videos where I had asked for one. And yeah, we're gonna go pick it up tomorrow. And he's throwing in the ATOS 120 automatic tuning antenna. So I think that'll be the rig for the RV. So there'll be a mobile install video. I did one for the Jeep JK with the Kenwood D710. But if anybody's interested to see how I run that. And the cool thing about the RV, and I'm rambling here, so feel free to drop off. The cool thing about the RV is that I did most of the work on the 12-volt system in terms of upgrading the power converters, upgrading to lithium iron phosphate batteries for the coach. So I'm actually going to put some really nice power distribution in there to support all the radio work I want to do. So I won't even be probably running it off of the main starter battery. I'm going to be running it off the coach batteries, and that will give me a lot more comfort because I trust the lithium iron phosphate batteries that I have from Battleborn, and that gives me 200 amp hours. I don't drive the RVL that much, so I'd prefer not to put any type of undue wear on that starter battery that I just replaced. All right, guys. Worst video ever, I know. I'm the Tech Prepper. Be strong, be safe, and be prepared.